Well, if you've grown up in the South, you may have heard of the redhead murders, a group of unsolved killings with several common factors, most notably the victim's hair. For years, authorities thought it might be the work of a serial killer. The theory, though, was never proven. But now amateur detectives are trying to change that. WBIR 10 News' Leslie Ackerson has tonight's Appalachian Unsolved.
Across the South, there are 6 crosses, representing where 6 lives were taken by a suspected serial killer. It's the work of podcaster Shane Waters, who's hoping to revive the stories of the redhead murders.
Although these women don't have those family members to do that for them, I thought it was the least that I could do to take that up upon myself, to put something out here so people will remember them.
As he studies these cold cases, he's getting help from a group of student detectives.
We looked into the lives of some of the most infamous serial killers.
All semester long, students at Elizabethton High School studied the characteristics of these crimes.
I do know of the fascination that adults have with true crime. This was the first time I've ever witnessed high school kids having that same passion and drive that all of these adults do.
Building a profile of the killer.
We believe this guy is a trucker and traveled on interstates.
His method of murder.
Some type of strangulation or asphyxiation.
And his victims.
Is someone with a transient lifestyle who maybe didn't have any family or was estranged from family.
The victims were all dumped along major highways in the 80s. One in Wetzel County, West Virginia.
She hadn't been there very long. There was snow on the ground, but nothing on her body. She did have a C-section scar and a scar on her index finger.
Lisa Nichols in Crittenden County, Arkansas.
She is actually the only identified victim. They believe that she was attempting to hitchhike.
Another in Campbell County, Tennessee on New Year's Day.
Her body was in an advanced state of decomposition. They believe that she was 2.5 to 5 months pregnant.
And again in Cheatham County, Tennessee.
Her body was found skeletonized, but we do know that she had red hair.
Another in a refrigerator in Knox County, Kentucky.
She was actually nude except for 2 necklace patterns. One of them was a gold-colored eagle, and the other one was a heart.
And in Greene County, Tennessee.
It's kind of incredible to see because she had light brown to blonde hair with red highlights, but she's still connected due to that red highlight type.
It's a death pattern that gave him a name, the Bible Belt Strangler.
Bible Belt Strangler because Nashville is the buckle of the Bible Belt, and these kind of surround Nashville. We think that Nashville or Knoxville is where the killer lived.
This guy is probably still out there. He's probably still alive. He's probably led a full life.
Seeking justice is creating a new generation of sleuths, but the root of their investigative efforts isn't to seek fame or glory, but speaking for those who can't speak for themselves.
There's like a whole other side of life that we don't really think about very much, and those people sometimes aren't well represented, so we wanted to do something to help them.
You're helping people find their family members. It means the world to me.
In Elizabethton, Leslie Ackerson, 10 News.
Now, if you have any information on these cases, you can call TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. DNA is currently being processed in the Knox County Jane Doe case, and authorities believe they could have matched a family member.